Prologue. After being reborn once, Yu Luo knew that he was a fake young master, in a roundabout clear and false young master, and the real young master Yu Xiao who suddenly appeared brought a slap-face brothers system, and robbed Yu Luo of everything. Under Yu Xiao's designs, Yu Luo encountered a series of tragic events and died in despair. On the contrary, the mediocre Yu Xiao counterattacked all the way. Everyone loves Yu Xiao like crazy and hates Yu Luo who has grown up since he was a child. But there is one more thing: the false young master is the original protagonist in the book, and should be favored by the will of the world. His real parents are well-known federal marshals. Yu Xiao's ultimate goal is not to chase him out of this home, but to occupy his real home. Yu Xiao was not interested in the life of the so-called rich family, and after letting the despised people get their satisfaction, he started to make money. However, not long after, a spaceship stopped in front of him, and the men of the whole star were respectful in this moment. The marshal, who was seriously injured and had been sleeping for 17 years, the first thing he did when he woke up was to look for his child. The late Yu Luo. The powerful man couldn't contain his trembling shoulder supported Yu Luo. As compensation, I will give you everything. Behind him, countless majestic high-ranking officers saluted Yu Luo. Welcome home, young master. Yu Luo, a small citizen who has always been far-reaching, can't afford it. Yu Luo realized what everything is. Living in the martial residence outside the territory, obtaining top-notch medical care and education, traveling to the stars every now and then, the top class came here to sing birthday songs for him, and the president personally held a coming-of-age ceremony for him. One day Martial Prefecture received a mysterious message from an alien country. After testing, the information matching between Mr. Yu Xiao and the Highness Melia of our country is 100%. If Mr. Yu is willing to be the princess, the two countries can negotiate an amicable agreement. Marshal, I did not. Where is the wild star? Yu Luo. If the so-called, His Royal Highness Melia, refuses to present the person he picked up whom he was down in his previous life, he seems to really leave him. TT Ever Shopping Group Favorite Read Article. 2. The halo of the Son of Luck is very strong, and there are bugs, but those who really love him will love him, regardless of whether he hits on men or not. 3. Gong fell in love with Shen in his previous life, an outstanding graduate of the male Durban class. Chapter 1. Yu Luo was about to die. He was lying on the bed in the intensive care unit. His thin body was filled with needles of various thicknesses, and liquids with different functions were slowly poured into his body along the catheter. Feel some of this could stop Yu Luo from losing his life. Yu Luo breathed hard. He could smell the faintly smell running from his throat. He was only 18 years old, so young. He didn't want to die yet, but living seemed meaningless. Recalling his short life of 18 years, Yu Luo laughed at himself. What a messy day he had. Since he was born, his relatives and friends, all the important people in his life, came to see him one after another. The first is his parents. Father Yu's expression was complicated. Little Luo, you wronged once. Your mother and I, as well as Xiao Xiao, will always remember you. We will live a good life for you. You have been suffering like this. We watched. It's also very uncomfortable. Yu Luo's eyes were numb. His father finished with Yu's mother's turn. Say something, too. Mother Yu looked indifferent, looking at Yu Luo as if she was looking at a dead person. Since she was a child, Yu Luo doubted whether she was her biological child. It wasn't until Yu Xiao, the rumored father's illegitimate son, was brought home that Yu Luo didn't know that his mother could really be a good mother. Finally Mother Yu moved her golden mouth. Don't worry, Xiao Xiao has already forgiven you. If you really want to thank him, you won't bother him again in your next life. Yu Luo thought to himself, if there is an afterlife, he hopes that this disgusting person's family will stay away from him. The door closed, and two people, Fu Qingzhou and Yu Xiao, came in again, one on his own. One is his former fiancé, and the other is his illegitimate brother. Fu Qingzhou seemed taken aback by his appearance. Kneeling down on one knee in front of his hospital bed, carefully stroking his brow in bony hands. Little Luo, how did you become like this? His voice was full of pain. You really sorry for you. I'm sorry for you. I will cure you. Don't worry, even if it takes everything, I will cure anyone. Regarding this seemingly sad words, Yuluo moved his lips slightly through the ventilator, and replied with one word, get lost. Fu Qingzhou looked at him painfully, as if his indifference was a great harm to him. Yu Xiao felt like vomiting. Qingzhou, can I have a few words with my brother alone? Yu Xiao put his hand on Fu Qingzhou's shoulder. The hostess's peach blossom placement hit Fu Qingzhou's nose, and he couldn't refuse this reasonable little request. Only Yu Luo and Yu Xiao were left in the ward. Why aren't you dead yet? After Yu Xiao said this, he didn't say anything either. Yu Luo didn't expect him to say anything nice either. Yu Xiao stood there for a while. Yu Luo had discovered before that he looked instead still melancholy, as if he was stuck, but this time, Yu Luo heard a different voice. In expectation of the worst luck, fate is really great. This is Yu Xiao's mocking voice. The host has successfully depressed the son of luck of his family into 2 good looks, health, and studies. After Yu Luo dies, the host will be able to unlock all the permissions of the Halo of Destiny. This is an unfamiliar electronic voice. The aura of the Son of Destiny is really a bug. Fortunately, Yu Luo, the holy mother bitch, gave it to me. Otherwise, it would be at least 1 times more difficult to deal with him than it is now. Yu Luo, who was on the sidelines, heard something among the door be heard. He didn't know why he could suddenly hear Yu Xiao's inner voice, but this did not prevent this passage from revealing a key message to him. He remembered that the 2 of them were kidnapped together. Yu Xiao helped him instead, like the soldier's knife, and his life was at stake. In that year, Yu Luo took care of him all night long, but Yu Xiao only wanted Yu Luo to fulfill one of his wishes, to give him the destiny aura of the Son of Destiny. Yu Luo didn't understand what he was talking about. Yu Xiao joked, I've always looked like a clown, compared to my elder brother who was the proud son of heaven. So I always think that a person like my elder brother should have the aura of the Son of Luck. Well, if only I could have one too. Yu Xiao thought he was too tedious talk nonsense, and agreed to comfort him, but now it seems that the halo of luck is a real thing. Yu Xiao didn't have time to think about it anymore, because he heard Yu Xiao asking the system in his heart, System, don't wait any longer. We'll kill him now, can you help me to leave no trace? System, the host can spend 10,000 points to buy, which potion, and Yu Luo will be considered a natural death. Yu Xiao, why the hell don't you grab it? I have worked hard for 2 years to save a total of 10,022 points. Do you want to disturb me? Did the host hear the alarm outside? Yu Luo's biological parents have already come to the door. This is the last chance. If the host doesn't hurry up, you will be the one who will go to jail at that time. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Biological parents. Yu Luo also heard the whistle from outside, as if someone had sealed off the entire building. He opened his eyes wide in surprise, and the lifeless eyes suddenly burst into light. It seemed that he was also a child loved by others. The system further threatened. Yu Luo's father has already gone upstairs. He has entered the elevator. He still has 4 floors to reach this floor. System, after Yu Luo dies, are you sure you can exchange his blood relationship with me? As long as the host's biological parents don't disclose it. Yu Luo's parents will not be able to detect that the host has no blood relationship with them through technological means. Yu Xiao took a long breath, then I'm relieved. My parents love me so much. They can't expose me, and it's too late for them to be happy now me live a good life. The pain in Yu Xiao's eyes himself take tweezers. He gritted his teeth and brought the potion, and applied it on Yu Luo's body. Yu Luo struggled hard, but he couldn't stop the effect of the potion before he died. Yu Luo stared at the direction of the door of the ward, feeling a strong sense of unwillingness in his heart. He just wanted to know who they are. Why didn't you even give him this chance? If I could do it all over again. Yu Luo woke up from the nightmare. The feeling of suffocation and powerlessness before he died lingered in his heart and could not go away. The feeling of being tormented by death was so vivid. Yu Luo hugged her knees tightly, trembling uncontrollably. She shed physiological tears, and it took an unknown amount of time before she calmed down. Then he realized his strangeness. He is In his bedroom. Yu Luo turned on the light and looked around. It was indeed the bedroom where he had lived for more than 10 years. Simple layout, some narcissism on the bedroom adds a little warmth. Yu Luo turned on the optical brain, and the time was 5:46 a.m. on August 30, 5203 in the star calendar. This was 2 years ago. Yu Luo was 17 years old, and was just about to enter the 3rd year of high school. Recalling the dream just now, the cold and sticky feeling was so real, Yu Luo couldn't believe that he made up so many details in the dream. Then there was only one possibility left: he was reborn. Before it at the age of 17, when everything has not yet begun. If everything in the dream is true, then he should go to the basketball hall to play basketball with Fu Qingzhou according to the schedule today. When they come back together, they will see a group of hooligans bullying a boy in a small alley. That boy was Yu Xiao in the evening. His parents will bring Yu Xiao to formally meet him, and let everyone know that this is his younger brother who has been living away from home and has been recovering from illness. Yu Luo since discovered that the young man he helped during the day was actually his younger brother. While feeling doubtful, he also felt a sense of responsibility as an older brother to protect his younger brother. And Yu Xiao also showed his closeness to Yu Luo very naturally. Before that incident, their relationship had always been good. Ding! A message came from the optical brain. Routing. Little Luo, have you had breakfast yet? Come to my house to eat. Attached is a photo of a sumptuous breakfast. In the photo, Fu Qingzhou took a sip of milk, and the eyes on the rim of the cup smiled, revealing a rigorous youthful spirit. Yu Luo subconsciously smoothed his restlessness, but now, seeing his smile, she felt a little sick to her stomach. Routing. Don't forget to play ball together later. Yu Luo thought for a while, and replied, it's covered by yourself, I'll be there later. Although he no longer wants to have anything to do with Fu Qingzhou, in order not to let Yu Xiao feel the butterfly's wings, as well as countless guesses, Yu Luo decided to go through the procedure according to his memory. He took a shower, dressed first to wash away the stagnant emotions on his body, and then walked out refreshed, and made himself a breakfast of toast and fried eggs. In Yu Luo's memory, his parents have been busy since he was a child, and when they were away, Yu Luo made the meals himself. Yu Luo's cooking skills are mediocre, and she can barely feed himself. Next, he changed into his basketball uniform, put on a black headband and wristbands, and walked to the basketball court. A lot of boys had already gathered in the basketball court, and there were even 3 tall girls who were classmates from the same high school. Flirting Yu Luo walking over, the originally noisy high school students fell silent for a few seconds. The boy is tall and tall, with black hair and snow skin. Apart from his beautiful buried features, he also has an unbelievably serene inner and calm temperament. He is dressed in a particularly sporty style, which constitutes a stronger attraction. Fu Qingzhou felt a subtle discomfort in his heart. He was pursuing Yu Luo, although Yu Luo hadn't agreed yet. The relationship between the two was the closest among all the people present. Fu Qingzhou had already regarded him as his destiny boyfriend. But I have to admit that today's Yu Luo is very different. That cold, slightly impatient expression makes him more and more close to the long-rumored nickname of Flower of Jailing. Little Luo, you are finally here. Fu Qingzhou handed him a bottle of water, showing his intimacy in front of others. But Yu Luo didn't pick it up, walked to the side and took off his coat, and said lazily, let's start early when everyone is here. After playing basketball for 3 hours, everyone was exhausted and out of breath. Yu Luo was also a little tired, sitting on the side panting. A girl who watched the game handed him a towel and water. Yu Luo took it and thanked him. Fu Qingzhou sat down next to him, with a look of jealousy. Little Luo, you never took girls' water before. Really, she's quite cute. Yu Luo said lightly. Fu Qingzhou, whose temperament and cuteness can't match, was at a loss for words for a while. Just when he wondered if Yu Luo was a little cold towards him, Yu Luo sent him an invitation. Let's walk home together. Fu Qingzhou was relieved. He really still cared about me, otherwise why would he invite me to take a walk together? The two walked slowly together. Fu Qingzhou was always thinking about topics along the way, and Yu Luo occasionally responded. Fu Qingzhou felt that Yu Luo was a little absent-minded, and felt that he was thinking too much. Yu Luo had a relatively cold personality, otherwise he would not have let him chase after him for a whole year. Yu Luo was indeed distracted. He didn't remember the specific location where he met Yu Xiao, and he hadn't seen anyone after walking for a long time, so he was a little worried whether he had passed by. Suddenly, there was a cry of pain from the alley ahead, followed by a subdued cry. The voice was very familiar, and Yu Luo's spirit was shaken, and he came. Chapter 2. Fu Qingzhou also heard this voice, and he hesitated. There seems to be something wrong over there. The two walked towards the source of the sound together, and saw a badly dressed gangsters beating a student-looking person. The man was beaten and curled up on the ground. In the gap, he saw the two of Yu Luo, as if he saw a savior. "Help me, please." Fu Qingzhou's sense of justice was immediately aroused, and he stepped forward and kicked one of the gangsters. "Why do you beat people in broad daylight? It's shameless for so many people to bully a student." Fu Qingzhou had differentiated into an alpha just after entering high school. The physical strength and physical toughness were not comparable to that of ordinary people. The little gangster was kicked for and hit the wall, and his nose bleeds. While Fu Qingzhou was still fighting in groups, Yu Luo carefully observed the group of people. When Fu Qingzhou fought in his previous life, he went to help Yu Xiao get up and check his wounds, so he failed to find that each of these gangsters was skinny and ragged, type residents of the fringe area. They were rare and difficult to enter. The middle-class residential area where Yu Luo is located. The little gangster who had just been kicked out did not try to continue attacking Fu Qingzhou, but ran out staggeringly. Yu Luo noticed that he had a brief eye contact with Yu Xiao, who was huddled in the corner. Fu Qingzhou quickly dealt with 4 people, and after driving them all away, he didn't give up on chase them. Instead, he helped up Yu Xiao, who was still lying on the ground, and prepared to send him to the hospital. Only then did he realize that Yu Luo had been standing still, looking at him. "Little Luo, come and help. He seems to be seriously injured. Don't you think this is a bit strange?" Yu Luo still stood there like an idler. The few people just now seemed to be from the fringe area. How could people from the fringe area come to the first area to beat others for no reason? The Maple Star, where Yu Luo is located, the human habitable area is divided into different levels according to the degree of habitability. Among them, District 1 to District 3 belong to the inner districts, and the residents are all people with certain status or stable jobs. The remaining District 4 to 7 are collectively referred to as the fringe districts, and the residents are often impoverished, suffering from congenital genetic diseases or inferior citizens who have committed crimes. People in the fringe areas have very low authority, and they often need to pay a large amount of entry fee to come to the inner area. For them, it is not a cost-effective thing for a group of people to beat up a person in the inner zone, and they tend to prefer to settle things in the fringe zone. Fu Qingzhou frowned slightly, obviously wanting to understand the key. He lowered his head and asked the boy who was supporting him, "Are you from the fringe too? Do you know them?" Yu Xiao shook his head in panic. "I don't know, I just came out to buy some food. They rushed out suddenly and asked me to give them money." On the other side, Yu Xiao asked the system in his heart, "Didn't you say that Yu Luo is kind-hearted and would definitely come to save me? Why is he standing by the side and saying sarcasm?" The cold electronic voice that Yu Luo had heard sounded again. Kindness is indeed one of Yu Luo's main character traits, and it is also a reasonable guess based on his character that he would save a boy who was beaten by the roadside. As for why Yu Luo didn't do this, the host might as well find out the reasons from himself. The system once suggested that it would be risky to entrust someone from District 6, just because he was greedy for cheap. Yu Xiao said, "Didn't you say the risk is very low? Yu Luo is only a high school student, how could he be so keen to find out? And I want to hire someone from the inner districts, how can it be so easy to hire? They don't call the police and arrest me. That's fine." Yu Luo lowered her eyes, thinking that in his previous life, he grew up in the inner area and had no contact with people in the fringe area, so he really didn't find anything. But even since he fell into a desperate situation in his previous life, he has been struggling in the fringe area, he has been tricked by countless people in the fringe area, and he has also received kindness from them. The current, you shall already tell whether a person has been in the fringe area for a long time by just looking at his temperament. In short, send him to the hospital first, and then call the police. I shouldn't have called the police first, and I don't know where those little gangsters have gone. Fu Qingzhou frowned and said. Already reported. Yu Luo shook the terminal ring on his wrist, and the bracelet suddenly lit up. Wait a moment, I'll take a call. Okay, Mr. Police Officer, I'll be right there. Yu Luo hung up the communication. Those little gangsters have been caught. It seems that we have to make a record. Yu Luo showed a seemingly helpless smile. This is the first time Fu Qingzhou saw him smile today. Yu Luo's appearance is glamorous, cold, and gorgeous, and catches people's eyes. The dew, even the fragrance is cold. But Fu Qingzhou just loves his beauty like a paper butterfly, so the proud young Mayater put down his figure. Like a stunned young man who was dazzled by love, he chased Yu Luo for a whole year, and never gave up a day. But a year later, Yu Luo gave Fu Qingzhou the feeling that he was only a little closer. It seems to be able to touch him, but when the wind blows, the butterfly will still fly away. Yu Luo didn't know what Fu Qingzhou was imagining. He laughed, purely because he heard Yu Xiao's voice in his mind begging for help from the system to despair and despair. Fu Qingzhou never refused to agree to Yu Luo's request, so he immediately said, then let's go now. Hey, what's the matter with you? Can you still go? Fu Qingzhou felt the weight in his arms suddenly increased. The boy who was rescued halfway seemed to be in too much pain, and he was about to faint in the next second. The boy didn't respond to him, so Fu Qingzhou had to pat his face a few times, trying to wake him up. His movements were not gentle. Yu Xiao rolled his eyes in his heart. This person must be Yu Luo's first love. Why is he so strong? My face hurts. Fu Qingzhou is an A- level alpha, and his strength is several times that of ordinary people. Well, he is also included in my deprivation task, right? In fact, he is not bad looking. He is more handsome than those stars in the world, and he is much more handsome than my ex-boyfriend. Lying in Fu Qingzhou's arms, thinking that such a handsome man would be his in the future, Yu Xiao didn't care about the fact that he just slapped him in the face. He was also gay before he dead, but unfortunately the conditions are mediocre. He is just an ordinary person. The ones he found are not only not handsome, but also too cheat, and he is so angry that he swears at others on the internet every day. The host, please continue to work hard to complete the deprivation task. My world. Yu Luo grasped this key word, sensitivity. Are there other worlds? Do parallel universes really exist? But Yu Xiao didn't continue talking. My head hurts. They hit my head just now. I may have a concussion. Yu Xiao opened his eyes and tried to look pitiful. You just saved me, I'm really grateful. Can I trouble you to take me to the hospital first? It's a little tricky for you. Fu Qingzhou said irritably. If you have a concussion, you shouldn't be able to make a record. How about I ask the housekeeper to send you off? I'm going to the police station with my friend. Yu Xiao's pitiful expression was slightly stiff. Damn, saved him anyway, but left him here. It's just a record, and have to stick to that, Yu Luo. At this moment, Yu Luo opened his mouth and said with disapproval, Fu Qingzhou, it's not good for you to leave him here alone. It will take a while for the butler to come over. Why don't you take a taxi, take him to the hospital first, and then come to the police? The bureau can find me. Hearing Yu Luo okay up, Fu Qingzhou realized that his actions were a bit irresponsible, which destroyed his perfect image in Yu Luo's heart. He looked at the miserable young man on his arms, and suddenly felt like he had picked up a hot potato. In addition to his sense of justice, he also had a sense of vanity to show off in front of Yu Luo when he originally went to save people. Yu Luo felt that he was unreliable. Then little Luo, wait for me, I'll be there soon, and we can go to a movie together in the afternoon. Don't worry, Yu Luo said gently, turning around, his eyes became indifferent. After finally getting rid of those two people, Yu Luo felt better. As for how the two of them would develop together alone, he didn't care. He went to the police station to make a quick statement, and went home after having a casual lunch in a restaurant outside. Fu Qingzhou's communication calls are half an hour later. Little Luo, when I arrived at the police station, they said you had already left. why didn't you notify me? I'm hungry. When he said these 3 words, the young man's tone was flat, and there was no expression on his face, but Fu Qingzhou just thought it was cute, and said with a smile, I'll be ready soon, take you to dinner. I've eaten. I'm already at home, I'm a little sleepy, I'm going to sleep. Yu Luo said. Okay. Fu Qingzhou was a little disappointed. The originally planned afternoon date with Yu Luo must have been ruined, and he was a little annoyed why he was nosy, and it was the same in the hospital. If it wasn't for that strange boy who kept pestering him, he wouldn't arrive at the police station so late. Little Luo, your body is more important. You must take good rest. School starts the day after tomorrow. I hope to see a healthy little Luo by then. Fu Qingzhou patiently told him, looking at Yu Luo in the video communication with full eyes tenderness. Yu Luo responded briefly, then hung up. Fu Qingzhou listened to the notification tone of hanging up. Is it his illusion? Why does he feel that little Luo is a little impatient? Yu Luo plans to explain to Fu Qingzhou directly when school starts, and end their ambiguous relationship. Now Yu Luo has more important things for do. I looked at the time, it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my parents probably wouldn't come back suddenly. His father, Yu Yuandao, is very busy with work and often stayed out at night. Mother's Li Ling was a housewife, but she almost never cared about him. She slept until noon and woke up every day, went out to play mahjong with her sisters and went shopping, and came back after midnight. Moreover, Li Ling has been away for half a month. Yu Luo didn't know what she was doing in her last life, but now he knows. She should go to pick up Yu Xiao. The conversation between Yu Xiao and the system told Yu Luo that he was not the biological child of the family, and Yu Luo also confirmed that he was reborn, so now he wants to find out if his adoptive parents are not at home. Information about the family of origin. Yu Luo entered his parents' bedroom. Li Ling did not allow Yu Luo to enter their rooms. Yu Luo was a sensible child. Even since he realized that his mother didn't like him very much, Yu Luo tried every means to please her. Yu Luo used to clean the house where Li Ling went out to play cards, and cleaned the bedroom of Yu Yuandao and Li Ling very clean. He only hoped to get a smile from Li Ling, and he didn't even expect to be praised. But Li Ling, who came back smelling of cigarettes and alcohol, found the tidy bedroom, but just called Yu Luo, who was doing housework, and asked him loudly why he messed with her things without her permission, and asked him not to enter her room in the future. Yu Luo was only 7 years old at the time, but in the face of loud reprimands, he acted calmly. He said obediently that I knew about my mother, and that my mother should not be angry anymore. In fact, he cried silently in his room all night after he went back. Yu Luo will no longer cry because of Li Ling's cold treatment, and of course she will not give up looking for what she really wants because of her ban. Yu Luo opened the master bedroom, and the first thing he saw was a photo of Li Ling and a baby on the bedside table.
The original story is from Noveltoon.
Chapter 3. The woman in the photo looks to be in her mid-20s, much younger than the current Li Ling. The shooting scene is a small flower garden. Li Ling is holding the baby in her arms, smiling happily. Flip to everyone, inscribed, me and my beloved. Yu Luo once thought that the baby in this photo was him. In his previous life, he accidentally saw this photo, and his heart softened into a ball. Looking at Li Ling in the photo, he felt that his mother actually loved him. Maybe Li Ling was in bad mood, so she didn't care about him. He thinks his mother is the prettiest in the world when she smiles, and he hopes to make her smile often. But now Yu Luo felt that the photo should be Li Ling and Yu Xiao. The baby is too young. It looks like it is less than 1 year old. Yu Luo doesn't know what he looks like at this time, so he can't compare with the baby. Yu Yuandao and Li Ling never took pictures of him, and the only photos of Yu Luo when he was a child were group photos in school. But one thing is certain, Yu Luo's pupils are a light amber color, like melted honey under the sun. When he looks at people with these eyes, they appear particularly pure and clear. But the baby's pupils were black. Yu Luo remembered that in his previous life he confounded himself by deceiving himself, thinking that the color difference should be caused by lighting problems. Yu Luo didn't bother to care about this photo anymore. He started looking through the bedroom cabinet, desk, under the mattress, briefcase, file bag. Yu Luo went through them one by one. He read everything carefully, but he couldn't find any relevant information about himself. Only Yu Yuandao's safe was left. The safe needed to be unlocked. Yu Yuandao's iris and password, and Yu Luo couldn't open it for the time being. Instead, I found a photo album that Li Ling had very well. It had a password on it. Yu Luo tried to enter Yu Xiao's birthday, and it opened. It carefully preserved all kinds of photos of Yu Xiao when he was a child, from birth to gradual grow up. Yu Luo flipped through it, and found that the album records stopped when Yu Xiao was about 2 or 3 years old. Yu Luo had no experience in raising children, so he couldn't accurately judge the exact age of the child. Yu Luo used his optical brain to scan all the albums, and when he was ready, he would carefully search for any missing key information. After reading all the information, it was already afternoon, so Yu Luo restored the room to its original state and quietly exited. At least he got useful information. Before Yu Xiao was 3 years old, he still lived with Yu Yuandao and Li Ling, and they loved him very much. Then it should be possible to rule out the possibility that he and Yu Zhao had the wrong hug when they were young. It is very likely that he was adopted for some reason, but I don't know why Yu Xiao was not at home afterwards. Yu Luo guessed for the time being that Yu Xiao might have been lost by accident. Yu Yuandao and Li Ling were sad and adopted him, and later they found their biological son. Yu Luo went back to his room and began to search for information on the adoption of orphans more than 10 years ago that was published on the internet. Unfortunately, he knew too little information. In order to protect the information of adopted children, the orphanage did not publish the children's specific names and photos. Yu Luo temporarily fell into a deadlock. Still need to know more information from Yu Xiao. Get more words from him. The blue light of the light curtain shone on Yu Luo's snow-white face. Yu Luo's gaze fell on the light curtain blankly. His eyelashes were long and thick, and the bridge of his nose outlined a tall and delicate line, making him look like a delicate person. Yu Luo originally thought that tonight would be the same as in his previous life. Yu Yuandao and Li Ling would order Yu Xiao home, who knew he didn't see anyone until midnight. It seems that the incident at the police station still caused Yu Xiao a lot of trouble, causing Yu Yuandao and Li Ling to have to run around all night for him. Yu Xiao smiled slightly and made a meal for himself. During the period, Fu Qingzhou sent a few messages over, asking him if there was anyone at home, if he was hungry, and if he needed to accompany him by himself. Yu Luo pretended to be asleep and didn't answer. Fu Qingzhou is the one who is used to using these gentle traps to sink people. In his previous life, whenever Yu Luo felt a little lonely or weak, Fu Qingzhou would always appear anytime and anywhere, accompany him, and wrap him up with meticulous thoughtfulness. He told Yu Luo to let go of his guard and try to trust him. When he appears, he will always give Yu Luo a strong sense of trust. Yu Luo gradually believed his words, looking forward to the future with Fu Qingzhou. The rose took the initiative to peel off its hard thorns, but the person who said he would protect him with a glass cover cruelly crushed the tender petals. The bright red juice flowed down, and the injured rose shrank into a withered mass of brown. At noon the next day, Yu Luo saw Yu Xiao, who was wrapped in various bandages. Yu Yuandao and Li Ling each supported one of his arms, as if they were afraid that he would fall. Yu Luo was making a milkshake for himself, when Yu Yuandao saw him and said, "Little Luo, come quickly, this is your brother." Yu Luo showed the same shocked expression as in the previous life. "Brother? When did I have a younger brother?" Yu Yuan said, it's a long story. Is he an illegitimate child?" However, Yu Luo didn't hold back and gave in like in his previous life, but asked this somewhat sharp question bluntly. "Yu Luo, what did you say?" Li Ling immediately exploded. It would be strange for someone who has never met him to suddenly say he is my younger brother. Yu Luo said, "And that's why Mom and Dad left me here for a week." Li Ling was a little embarrassed. Indeed, the husband and wife were too excited to pick up Yu Xiao, and they didn't even send him a message for half a month. In this way, it seemed normal for Yu Luo to have emotions. Yu Yuandao smoothed things over and said, "It's because we were too busy, and neglected. Little Luo, don't be angry, and your brother, just came home, let's be more harmonious. They carefully put Yu Xiao on the chair, but Yu Xiao insisted on standing up, and limped across to Yu Xiao. Hi brother, I'm Yu Xiao, please take care of me in the future. The shy boy stretched out his hand to him with some embarrassment, and lowered his head deeply, in a gesture of showing weakness. Yu Luo lowered his eyes and glanced at the hand that was still wrapped in gauze. The voice of Yu Xiao talking to the system sounded in his head. System, didn't you say that Yu Luo loved my parents very much? Why did I see that he lost his temper with them as soon as he came back? And he seemed to blame me for it. My task of liking 20 feels a little dangling. Yu Luo really loves his adoptive parents deeply. It's only natural for his parents to feel resentful because they neglected him because they took care of other children. However, by simulating Yu Luo's behavior before, he should suppress the emotions in his heart to take care of his adoptive parents. Not happy, maybe the adoptive parents have gone too far this time, causing Yu Luo to backlash. Yu Xiao anxiously waited for Yu Luo's response, his hands were a little sore. Finally, Yu Luo spoke, his voice was clear and pleasant, but the words he spoke were not so pleasant. Sorry, although it's the first time we met, I feel disgusted when I see you. Quote. Iu Luo, little Luo, Yu, Li Ling and Yu Yuandao looked at him in surprise, as if they were wondering why Yu Luo, who was always gentle and polite and always followed their wishes, would say such a thing. Li Ling's face was trembling with anger. Yu Luo, is this how I usually teach you? Is this how you behave in the world? You just say that about your younger brother who just came in, and I raised you for nothing. She blurted out such a sharp accusation, thinking that he in case would be afraid of apologizing, was there him Yu Luo would be afraid of apologizing, and then, like he did before, would do everything to please her. Because she is Yu Luo's mother, no child would dare to disobey his mother. However, Yu Luo looked at her uncharacteristically, his eyes full of hurt. Teach me, when did mom teach me? Why can't I remember even one thing? Mom thinks I'm rude to this person who just walked in, but have you ever thought that I'm really disgusting? Where mom left, it seemed to forget about giving me living expenses. If I didn't a little scholarship to support me, I might have starved to death when you come back. I frugally saved my stomach and make me sick. But does anyone care? Sometimes I really doubt. I am not your own. Yu Luo's last words were almost like a whisper. Of course, Yu Luo was not as miserable as he said. The sum of his scholarships and prize money from various competitions from childhood to adulthood was enough for him to eat. He just wanted to trick them and see their reaction. Yu Yuandao tried to Li Ling were obviously baffled by his last words. Li Ling's aggressive aura suddenly weakened, and her eyes wandered. Yu Yuandao hurried up to comfort him. Little Ling, what are you thinking about? You will always be the favorite child of your parents. As for Yu Xiao, of course he is not an illegitimate child. Otherwise, why would you another agree to me bringing him back? The truth is, Yu Xiao has been in poor health since he was a child, so he has been recuperating on a remote planet, and now that he has recovered, we brought him back. Then why didn't you mention him before? Yu Luo continued to pretend to be sad. Yu Yuandao also acted. We have not been sure whether Yu Luo can survive. I am afraid that after you learn about your brother's existence, you will also be as sad because of his affairs. We should fight against such a sad thing by ourselves. How can we fight? Do you have the heart to let you know? Tears filled Yu Luo's eyes. Is that so, Mom? Li Ling's eyes dodged. His acting skills were very unnatural compared to Yu Yuandao's. Yes, we are actually worried about you two. Okay, little Luo, now that I've made it clear, you two brothers should get to know each other's quickly. Yu Luo looked at Yu Xiao again, and it could be seen that the young man had tried his best to let go of his guard, but his expression was still a little strange and uncomfortable. Sorry, I didn't know those things before. Yu Xiao was already confused by Yu Luo's attack just now. He thought that Yu Luo had discovered his true identity, so how would he play next? Damn, why is it so difficult to deal with the protagonist of this world who is a super kind Virgin Mary? System, how much does it have Yu Luo like me now? 0. WTF. Why is it so low? Doesn't he recognize me as his younger brother? Judging from Yu Luo's behavior just now, it seems that he just wanted to appease his parents and get to know you. In fact, he didn't really accept you in his heart. Although Yu Luo is kind, it is difficult for him to trust others due to the influence of his family. Yu Luo seems to be still didn't recognize the host, so I suggest that the host can mention what happened yesterday to arouse Yu Luo's memory and affection. Yu Xiao timidly raised his head. Brother, don't you know me? We met yesterday, you and another brother saved me together. Hearing this, Yu Luo observed his face carefully, as if recalling something through heavy gauze. Oh, you're the one. Yes, it's me. You're the weird guy who hooks up with the fringe bastards. Yu Xiao. System. Yu Luo's favorability value 5, current favorability value -5. Give electric shock punishment. Yu Xiao.
Chapter 4, Yu Xiao. Yu Luo has a negative value for favorability. Affection value from low to high is -10 to +100. Yu Xiao. No, I mean, why do you shock me? I am your master, the system coldly said. To be precise, the system and the host are in a mutually beneficial cooperative relationship. The help the system gives the host is not completely due when the host fails to complete the task well, causing the task progress to lag seriously, or the task fails, the system will respond appropriately, give punishment to spur the host. After the system finished speaking, Yu Luo heard a slight electrical sound, accompanied by the tragic scream in Yu Xiao's mind. In reality, Yu Xiao reacted much less, but it could be seen that his body trembled slightly as if he was enduring great pain. What's the matter with you? Yu Luo seemed to support him with concern, and at the same time, the favorability value increased by 3 points, becoming -2. Yu Xiao. Yu Luo's favorability value has risen. Could it be that my showing weakness in front of him will arouse his sympathy and increase his favorability towards me? The system didn't answer, so Yu Xiao decided to try again. Yu Xiao showed a weak smile. Brother, don't worry. I'm fine. Maybe it's because I haven't recovered from my previous illness, maybe I need to take care of it. Yu Luo's favorability value is -3, and the current favorability value is -5. If the correct favorability value is lower than the current favorability value, another electric shock penalty will be given. Yu Xiao's head was getting bigger. Why did my favorability value drop even though I showed weakness? Doesn't he just want to see me get sick? The specific strategy method is for the host to explore by himself. Brother, in fact, my illness is quite serious, and I won't get better in a while. Yu Xiao hurriedly made up for it. Yu Luo's favorability value +4, current favorability value -1. Yu Xiao breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that my guess is right. Yu Luo may think that if I still get sick, I can continue to recuperate. And I won't rob my parents from him. Humph, why is Wei Guang the protagonist? It's too dark. It's a pity. How could parents love him? Yu's father and Yu's mother next to him were terrified by his words, and they kept coming up to ask warmly. What's wrong, Xiao Xiao? Does it still hurt? Do you want us to see a doctor? Yu Xiao said weakly. It's okay, let's have a meal with my brother today. Didn't my brother say that he hasn't eaten yet, and I'll go back to the hospital for a check-up later. Let's appease Yu Luo first, so that his favorability value won't drop further. Considering that Yu Xiao had just returned home, Li Ling also wanted to rest more, so he arranged for him to be in the second bedroom on the second floor, right next to Yu's father and mother's bedroom. Yu go to sleep for a while, and mom goes to cook. Yu Luo's favorability value -2, current favorability value -3 inches. Yu Luo's favorability value -2, current favorability value -3 inches. Why am I dizzy again? Dangerous danger. Yu Xiao observed Yu Luo's expression. His eyes wandered between Yu Xiao's bedroom and the master bedroom. Yu Xiao suddenly felt blessed. I remembered. Yu Luo's bedroom is on the 3rd floor. He most jealous of me, and my parents' bedrooms are close. Actually, my brother's bedroom is also very good. I heard from my mother that it is directly above my parents, and it is closer than me. Yu Xiao said. Yu Luo's favorability value +2, current favorability value -3 inches. There's one more, and another. Yu Xiao is furious. What else makes him unhappy? Oh yes, in fact, my mother told me today that she deliberately bought a lot of your favorite dishes, hoping to cook you a big meal. Today, she said that she has never cooked for you, and she wants to compensate you. Yu Luo's favorability value +3, the current favorability value is 0 inches. One operation finally raised Yu Luo's favorability value to the starting point of 0, and Yu Xiao was exhausted physically and mentally. System, this is the person I want to deprive in the future. He is my ancestor, right? Embarrassment of the ups and downs. Where Yu Xiao couldn't see, the corners of Yu Luo's mouth curved slightly. He found that seeing Yu Xiao unlucky can make him feel better, and when he is in a good mood, his dislike towards him will be lower, and he can still move the favorability value within 10 at will. In the dining table, Yu Luo's favorability value went up and down like a roller coaster. Yu Xiao had to turn into a dog licker in order to take care of his mood, causing Yu Yuandao and Li Ling to look sideways. Li Ling couldn't bear it anymore, and slapped the chopsticks on the table. Yu Luo, what's the matter with you? Your younger brother just came home from illness, and you don't know how to take care of him and let him serve you all the time. Do you still look like an older brother? Hurry up and serve soup for your brother. I'm stuffed, Yu Luo said calmly, pushed the bowl away and left the seat. At the same time, the favorability value of Yu Luo dropped to -10, and Yu Xiao had to suffer another electric shock. Li Ling originally wanted to chase him out and continue insulting Yu Luo's lack of dignity, but was attracted by Yu Xiao's strange behavior, so she had to take care of his first, and had no time to take care of Yu Luo. Yu Luo returned to his room and locked the door behind him. Hearing the noise downstairs, he didn't know what it was like. If he can find his biological parents, he is willing to suffer from electric shock every day. Unfortunately, here, maybe even if he died, no one would pay attention to him. Yu Luo also thought about Yu Yuandao and Li Ling's attitude towards him today. Yu Luo felt that when he used, suspect that I'm not your biological child, to test him, Yu Yuandao reacted greatly, as if he had something he was afraid of. Regarding Li Ling's words, although Li Ling seems to have a very fierce attitude today, compared with her previous cold violence against Yu Luo, she is completely cruel and inwardly soft. Faced with Yu Luo's rare resistance to her, Li Ling backed down. Instead, Yu Luo thought it was ridiculous. Maybe when he was young, in order to make his parents like him more, he always silently endured the grievances he suffered, and treated them silently, which made them ignore him even more. Now they are playing with their temper like a rebellious teenager, but they have changed their attitude towards him, carefully observing his views, paying more attention to him, the fear of touching his anger point. In comparison, Yu Luo still likes the cold and willful life now. In the evening, the 3 members of the Yu family who went to the hospital come back again. Yu Luo could only hear the conversation between Yu Xiao and the system within the hearing range of normal people, so he asked for water, and went down to the kitchen to get ice cubes. Seeing him, Yu Xiao flinched subtly, and the two said hello to each other, and Yu Luo went upstairs. Walking on the stairs, Yu Luo heard Yu Xiao's voice. Why do I have to do this ghost task of Yu Luo's favorability value reaching 20 inches? Are you trying to torture me to death? With my parents pampering me and ignoring him every day, Yu Luo might hate me to death. 20 is already the minimum requirement. If Yu Luo's favorability value does not reach the initial favorability value of 20, the subsequent deprivation mission of Children of Luck Halo will not be completed. He will not be willing to voluntarily give up ownership for the hast. Then I am going to be electrocuted all the time. Yu Xiao went crazy. Electric shock is just a normal means of spurring the system. If the host's ability is sufficient to complete the task, it will not receive electric shock. The sound of the system has no ups and downs. If the host is not willing to endure the pain, you can also use points to eliminate the electric shock penalty. The effect ratio is 1:1. For example, when Yu Luo's favorability value for you is -10, you can use 6 points to make the favorability value to -4 to avoid the shock penalty. Hiss, I only got a total of 200 points by depriving Yu Luo of 2 adoptive parents before. Isn't This deducted a lot. You can also choose to increase the completion of the task, or endure the punishment of electric shock. Then Yu Luo's favorability value is -2, and the current favorability value is -6 inches. Quote. When the familiar pain ran through his body again, Yu Xiao yelled, "It's just 2 points, I'll buy it." Fuck, I didn't shake it in front of him, how can the favorability value go down? Yu Luo is a bitch, right? Yu Xiao clenched his fists and vowed that he would make 100-fold repay for today's pain. He will definitely complete the task as soon as possible, deprive Yu Luo of everything, and make this moody bitch kneel on the ground and beg him. The next morning, Li Ling made a rare breakfast for 2, but Yu Xiao's seemed much richer, and Yu Luo's seemed incidental and dry. Why did mom make me breakfast today? Yu Luo's tone was filled with unimaginable surprise. Li Ling said, "Your brother didn't ask for it. Originally, I just wanted to be a part of him to replenish his health. You know that he is sick. Why don't you thank me?" Mom, stop talking. It's obvious that you made it for brother specially. Yu Xiao wanted to gag Li Ling's mouth. It's a pity that he was injured, his legs and feet were bad, and it was too late to cover his mouth. The injury was actually caused by Yu Luo calling the police. It was impossible for the actors he hired to beat him up, but after the police came, the almost non-existent bruise on Yu Xiao's body would definitely be seen, so Yu Xiao had no choice but to use points to find the system to exchange for a serious injury effect. Although he suffered a little bit of physical pain, the police really believed that those gangsters deliberately hurt people, and now they have been caught in the police station. Sure enough, I'm just an incidental. Yu Luo's face darkened, revealing no expression. He put on his school bag and left without eating. Li Ling called him back and asked him to take Yu Xiao to the new school to report, but Yu Luo ignored him. Li Ling felt that this adopted son had gone against the heavens in the past 2 days, thinking that he could treat him as his own without telling him that he was adopted, didn't he? How dare you slander her in front of Xiao Xiao? The more Li Ling thought about it, the angrier she became, and she wished she could slap Yu Luo hard, so that he could recognize his position in this family. It's the other way around. Do you still think I'm his mother? Li Ling took out her optical brain to make a phone call as she spoke. The parents' attitude towards Yu Luo is related to Yu Xiao's personal safety. Yu Xiao pressed Li Ling's hand. Mom, what are you going to do? Don't worry about Xiao Xiao, your brother is probably sick. He has never been so angry with me since he was a child. He is really shameless. If he doesn't teach him a lesson, I called their class teacher and asked him to take a month off from school and stay at home. Reflect. Yu Xiao was a little startled when he heard that. He's already a senior in high school. How about the 3rd year of high school? If he continues like this, don't take the college entrance examination, take a year off from school, let him go to school after he has reflected on himself, and don't think about where the money for his studies comes from. Isn't it all me and you? Dad confessed to him. Thankless wretch. Li Ling wanted to fight again, and Yu Xiao thought that if Yu Luo was locked up, it would be difficult for him to have contact with Yu Luo, so how could he complete the task? So he persuaded, Mom, calm down, Yu Luo is just not used to it for a while, except my existence. He doesn't even want to take you to school, and you still speak nicely for him. Li Ling nodded his nose. You really followed your mother, with a good-natured temper. Li Ling wanted to introduce the love breakfast to him, and Yu Xiao touched his arm in embarrassment. He finished eating in a hurry and went to school. As a transfer student on the first day of school, his character design is probably the protagonist configuration in the anime.
Chapter 5. Just 200 meters after Yu Luo walked out of the house, he saw a familiar car parked in midair. This is a sterling silver land air suspension vehicle. The technology of suspension vehicles has gradually become popular these years. The difficulty is that it is difficult for ordinary people to have an aviation driver's license. Even if they have money to buy a suspension vehicle, they can only run on the ground. But Fu Qingzhou's family obviously does not belong to ordinary people who cannot have the right to exercise aviation. It is very rare for an ordinary family to get an aviation driver's license for the grandchildren of family members who like racing cars. But every driver of the Fu family has an aviation driver's license. The car suspended in midair attracted the envious eyes of many passers-by. When Yu Luo was about to ignore him, the car door opened. Fu Qingzhou opened the car door and jumped down from above. Little Luo, why are you still ignoring me? The suspension car was 5 or 6 meters high from the ground, but he jumped off it very lightly, as if he had jumped a step. This is the physical quality of an A-level alpha, and the onlookers immediately envied him even more. I can take the subway. Yu Luo said. It's crowded on the subway, and it's the morning rush hour. Maybe it will make you sweaty. Fu Qingzhou said. He took a step forward, leaned against Yu Luo's fair neck, and took a deep breath. Yu Luo, you smell so good. Yu Luo's body froze for a moment, and he stretched out his hand to push him away. Don't talk so close. Fu Qingzhou succeeded in stealing fragrance, and said with a smile indifferently, I brought you breakfast, and put it in the car. You can just finish eating when you arrive at school. Come with me, I'm already eaten. Yu Luo lied without changing his expression. But I haven't eaten yet. I'm waiting for little Luo to have breakfast with me. Do you have the heart for me to go to class hungry? Fu Qingzhou said pitifully. A tall and handsome boy deliberately pretending to be pitiful and begging his sweetheart to class with him is indeed a very deceptive scene. It's a pity that Yu Luo is not Yu Luo from the previous life. Feel sorry. Yu Luo's repeated refusal seemed to mean something. Fu Qingzhou's smiling eyes and brows sank. He looked at Yu Luo, his chest was slightly blocked. I've felt since yesterday. Brother, it's good to catch up. The call from afar interrupted Fu Qingzhou's unfinished words. He turned his head and saw a man with a bandage limping towards here. Parents said let me go with you. I don't know the way to school yet. Brother. Fu Qingzhou looked at Yu Luo suspiciously. Since when did you have a younger brother? Yu Luo closed his eyes. Yesterday, do you want it? I'll give it to you. Fu Qingzhou's eyes wandered between the two of them, sensitively aware that this seemed to be the reason why Yu Luo was not happy these 2 days. However, it's not impossible to take advantage of this cheap brother who came to your door. Hello, I'm Fu Qingzhou, Yu Luo's classmate. Fu Qingzhou held out his hand to Yu Xiao. Are you also a student of Shengao? And I can take you two together by the way. When Yu Xiao saw that Fu Qingzhou wanted to shake hands with him, he knew that he didn't recognize him either, so he forcibly suppressed the speechlessness in his heart and made a surprised expression. So your name is Fu Qingzhou. Don't you remember me? It's the man you rescued yesterday. You sent me to the hospital. Without you, I might have been beaten to death by those people. I really don't know how to thank you. On the young man's face was a look of pure admiration for his savior. Fu Qingzhou carefully observed his face, and finally matched him with the person he saved yesterday. That's really a coincidence. You actually have something to do with Yu Luo. Yu Xiao said embarrassedly. That's right, my parents just brought me back from another planet, and brother Yu Luo was surprised to see me yesterday. Yu Luo didn't have time to listen to their nonsense, so he checked the time. You guys talk, I'll go first. Brother, classmate Fu Qingzhou said that he would take us all the way. Won't you come with us? Yu Xiao asked suspiciously. Fu Qingzhou also said, I've been delayed here for a long time. What if I'm late for school? Regarding the fact that Yu Luo didn't want to take Fu Qingzhou's car, Yu Xiao was really puzzled, and asked the system in his heart, aren't Yu Luo and Fu Qingzhou still a couple now? Did they quarrel? According to the trajectory of the original world, Yu Luo and Fu Qingzhou are in a good relationship at this point in time, and they get along harmoniously. Yu Xiao said, yesterday I also felt a little strange that Yu Luo didn't take me to the hospital with Fu Qingzhou, but left alone. After a while, the system said, according to the analysis, Yu Luo's external personality is relatively cold and he doesn't like places with many people. This may be the reason why he doesn't want to go to the hospital. But what the host said has some truth. Yu Luo compared with the database files, the currently displayed personality traits do have certain differences, and the system needs to recalculate Yu Luo's behavior trajectory based on the host's next observation of Yu Luo. When Yu Luo heard this, he was a little surprised in his heart. He already knew that Yu Xiao's system had many magical functions, but he didn't expect that it was so intelligent that it could calculate his trajectory, which was a little trickier than he imagined. Also, the system said, compared to the data in the system library, Yu Xiao was in contact with him for the first time the day before yesterday. Where did the system get his data? Yu Luo remembered that when he met Yu Xiao for the first time, Yu Xiao also mentioned that the system said that he had a kind personality. Yu Luo became more and more curious about this so-called system and the world it called. Yu Luo thought about it, and naturally took Fu Qingzhou's words. If you take your car, you may be seen by other students. The young man lowered his head slightly, revealing a smear of red on the side of his ear, printed on his fair to almost transparent skin. This slight shyness made Fu Qingzhou uncontrollably happy. Admit it when you see it. Will I still lie to you? Fu Qingzhou said. As he spoke, he wrapped his arm around Yu Luo's waist, guided momentum and jumped onto the lower car in midair. Then tell the driver to slowly descend an elevator staircase from the car door. Yu Xiao who can only climb stairs. The space in the suspension car is very spacious, and the layout is also very stylish. There is gentle music playing, and some of Fu Qingzhou's personal items are placed in it, which shows his preferences. Fu Qingzhou opened the breakfast for Yu Luo. Because he couldn't destroy his character set for the time being, Yu Luo simply took 2 bites, while Fu Qingzhou watched him from the sidelines. Yu Xiao first chatted with Fu Qingzhou casually. Seeing that Fu Qingzhou had no intention of talking to him, he thought for a while and said, "Are brother Fu Qingzhou and my brother a couple? You seem to have a good relationship." Fu Qingzhou looked in Yu Luo's direction with his chin in his hand. "I have to ask you Luo, what do you think?" Yu Luo glanced lightly at Fu Qingzhou, and Fu Qingzhou's heart beat faster. "Don't talk nonsense, we are just classmates." "Little Luo, how can you be so irresponsible?" Fu Qingzhou pretended to be sad and exaggerated, and then got involved with the start of school and changed the subject. He knew in his heart that he was only gradually overcoming Yu Luo's defenses, and needed more time to fully enter his life. Yu Xiao watched Fu Qingzhou flirting with Yu Luo in various ways, feeling very unbalanced, and asked the system, "This Fu Qingzhou doesn't even look at me, his eyes are almost glued to Yu Luo, how can I attack him?" According to the original track, 3 months later, Yu Luo will have passed his 18th birthday, and Fu Qingzhou will be engaged to him. Fu Qingzhou is now in the period of passionate love for him. The host needs to be patient. Patience, how can I be patient? Fu Qingzhou looks like Yan Rong at first glance. I look so ordinary, he didn't recognize me, let alone dumped Yu Luo because of me. System, you have to help me find a way. I can't finish the task, so you can't have a good time either. After a while, the system said, if the current Fu Qingzhou is more difficult to overcome, it is recommended that the host work hard from outside forces. You mean you want me to provoke Yu Luo? Create a conflict and make him quarrel with Fu Qingzhou? Yu Luo is a person with some perfectionist tendencies. As long as he can create a taint between him and Fu Qingzhou, he should take the initiative to break up. At the same time, Fu Qingzhou is a bit machismo due to the influence of his family environment. The desire is also relatively strong, and the host can start with the personalities of the two of them. Yu Xiao fell into deep thought. The first day of high school is very busy. Shenggao implements a very strict elimination system, and students are reassigned to classes every year based on their performance. Only the top 5% can be assigned to the so-called elite class, where Yu Luo is now in the 3rd class. Yu Luo's grades have always been the first in the grade, and the seat is still the same as before. It was his deskmate, Hang Mo, who was so nervous about the final exam last semester that he was afraid that he would be kicked out of the class. Before the exam, Yu Luo also helped him focus on several evening self-study sessions. It was a long time ago, so that when Hang Mo, who was wearing thick glasses, greeted Yu Luo was still a little unresponsive. Yu Luo, I miss you so much. How can I live without you? Hang Mo said and gave Yu Luo a big hug. They were at the same table for 2 years, and Yu Luo didn't resist such contact. Yu Luo recalled how they got along with each other, and joked, it's not because you wouldn't be able to do your homework without me. Hey, Hang Mo smiled silently, there are indeed a few that I don't know. You can teach me before Laoguan collects the homework. My mother baked cookies, and she asked me to bring you a copy. The two talked casually for a while, and the head teacher, Lao Guan, came. Students, we have two new classmates today. Teacher Guan said. One is Fu Qingzhou from the Saints College. You should all know him. The other is Yu Xiao, who just transferred from another school. Everyone welcome them. Chapter 6. Fu Qingzhou was too lazy to introduce himself, and Yu Xiao spoke a few words nervously on stage. Everyone applauded warmly, but they couldn't help muttering in their hearts. Shenggao's full name is St. Ferendy Affiliated High School, and St. Ferendy College is affiliated to St. Ferendy University in the capital of the empire, which is the core college of Shenggao. It can be said that the students of the Saints College are the reserve members of the Holy University by default. Unlike the students of the ordinary classes of the Holy High School, they also need to pass the Federal Unified Examination before they can enter the university. Fu Qingzhou's transfer from Saint Academy to the ordinary class was a decision made by many people only when their brains were pumped. However, some people expressed understanding. Is it the school bell after all? Let me choose between Shengda University and the school bell. Maybe I will choose the latter. Fu Qingzhou has been chasing that one for a year. It seems that he wants to have a place in the last year of high school. I feel that Yu Xiao, probably because of his family background. Although we are only in the ordinary class, we are all in the top 5% of the grade. It must have cost him a lot of money to transfer indirectly. I heard that Yu Xiao is Yu Luo's younger brother, but the difference in appearance between the two is a bit far. Fortunately, I saw this year's freshman list and looked forward to it. Really, isn't Shalwa the only child? Finally, I heard from my parents that the Yu family plans to hold a banquet this weekend. I would like to officially introduce Yu Xiao to everyone. The invitation has already been sent to my house. Tisk tisk, I didn't see them caring so much about Yu Luo. Ahem, Mr. Guan interrupted the conversation that he thought was very quiet in the audience. Okay, let's arrange seats for everyone first. Fu Qingzhou and Yu Xiao, you are new here, do you have any seats you want to sit in? Fu Qingzhou cut to the chase, I'll just sit next to Yu Luo. There was a burst of applause in the classroom. Fu Qingzhou looked at Hang Mo in a consulting tone. Student, can you change places with me? Hang Mo swallowed, feeling very unhappy in his heart, but he didn't dare to refuse Fu Qingzhou, so he murmured, yes, yes. Na Yu Luo, do you have any comments? Teacher Guan asked a routine question, but he didn't expect to hear a different answer. Teacher, I have been at the same table with Hang Mo for 2 years. We get along very well. Yu Luo showed a bit embarrassed look just right. Also, Hang Mo has encountered some difficulties in his studies recently. I usually also. You can help him, or don't change it. Hang Mo was moved to tears. He didn't expect Yu Luo to be able to show his love to Fu Qingzhou for him. Hang Mo almost said that Yu Luo, you are my good brother for life. Okay, then I can sit behind Yu Luo. Fu Qingzhou didn't insist, and put Yu Xiao's thoughts first. Anyway, he just wanted to get closer to him. So Yu Luo was tall, and he was sitting in the back row. There was no one behind, so Fu Qingzhou added a table behind Yu Luo. Teacher Guan arranged Yu Xiao next to Fu Qingzhou by the way. Okay, now that the seats are arranged, let's organize it and go to the hospital for the physical examination at the beginning of school. Senior high school is an important period for teenagers to differentiate their gender. If the students' differentiation periods are not carefully taken care of, various messages may appear. Glandular problems are difficult to cure for life. Shenggao attaches great importance to this, and every semester take the students to the medical examination. Those who have successfully differentiated like Fu Qingzhou also need to go for a physical examination to check whether their pheromone secretion is normal and whether it will affect normal life. A group of people lined up for a medical examination. Fu Qingzhou walked beside Yu Luo, and Yu Xiao followed. Yu Xiao observed Fu Qingzhou's expression and said, System, Senior Fu Qingzhou already split up. Why does he look quite nervous? The system said, he is nervous about Yu Luo's test results. Fu Qingzhou is an A- level alpha, and his parents hope that he can marry AA level omega in the future. They know Fu Qingzhou's pursuit of Yu Luo, because Yu Luo their looks and grades satisfied them, so they didn't stop them. But they never met Yu Luo in person, because they were not sure what gender Yu Luo would split into. If Yu Luo split into beta or alpha, they would not accept it. It will put Fu Qingzhou in an embarrassing situation. Yu Xiao thought for a while. I remember you said that Yu Luo should have differentiated into an S-level omega. Yes, the system said. In fact, what it doesn't say is that if Fu Luo can successfully differentiate, S rank is only his lowest level, because the environment here can't provide him with enough stimulation and energy. System, wait a minute, can you show my physical examination data with Yu Luo's? The system disagrees. Host, the exchange of data is only a temporary deception, and it can't really deprive Yu Luo of the differentiated gender and level. When both of you are successfully differentiated, everyone will still find out the truth. Yu Xiao has his own opinions. I know, but isn't there nothing I can do now? Fu Qingzhou and Fu Luo are both like passers-by to me now. It's hard for me to talk to them. How can I snatch Fu Qingzhou over? Then I just want to listen to you. Do you start with external factors? My parents also sent invitations to Fu Qingzhou's parents to my welcome banquet. If they know that it is possible to differentiate into an S-level omega, and Yu Luo is just an ordinary beta, how would they want Fu Qingzhou to choose? System, I have too few chips now, and I must seize every opportunity. The system was convinced by him. The host can open them all, and use 30 points to buy a data eraser. Yu Xiao bought it while muttering that it couldn't be cheaper. In front of him, Fu Qingzhou cast suspicious glances at Yu Xiao from time to time, and asked, Yu Luo, is your brother, why do you always talk to yourself, is it the sequelae of the previous injury? It's a bit strange. Yu Luo, who heard the whole conversation, showed a faint smile. No way, my parents took him to check every times. You must have read it wrong. Yu Luo's favorability value is -2, and the current favorability value is less than 5. Yu Xiao was caught off guard, and quickly offset the electric shock punishment with 1 point, and gave Yu Luo a resentful look with lingering fear. Damn it, while pretending to be kind to Fu Qingzhou, thought you finally had a little brotherhood, and at the same time deducted the favorability value in heart. Yu Luo, do you dare not to have such green tea? In any case, after being complained by Fu Qingzhou, Yu Xiao finally realized that when he was immersed in the dialogue with the system, the outside world was not static and flowing, and he had to pay attention to his own performance, and the system was not omnipotent. Soon the line reached Yu Luo, and just as Yu Luo was about to go in, Yu Xiao stopped him, covering his stomach with his hands in embarrassment. Brother, can you let me go in first? I want to go to the bathroom after the examination. In fact, it was because he had to go in before Yu Luo, see the data eraser on the medical examiner, and ask the doctor to swap his data with the next Yu Luo's. Otherwise, if Yu Luo went in first and was told the result by the doctor himself, it would be useless to change the data, and Yu Luo would also have doubts. Yu Luo nodded and let him go in without saying anything. Yu Xiao lay on the hospital bed, and asked the doctor to stab the back of his neck with an instrument. After a while, the optical brain made a beep sound, and Yu Xiao quickly used the data eraser, and the information in the optical brain was tampered with Yu Luo's medical examination information prepared by the system. Congratulations, your pre-differentiation gender is an S-class omega. That is very, very rare, and you must pay more attention to it. The doctor was also very happy to detect a future S-class omega. But at the same time, she also secretly looked at Yu Xiao with a little superior. Due to professional reasons, she has been in contact with many omega, and this student really doesn't have the kind of temperament that she is familiar with. Maybe she just missed it. Whether it can be differentiated is another matter. It is of course best to have one more omega. The doctor dismissed the thoughts in her heart and carefully instructed Yu Xiao on various precautions. Whether an S-level omega is placed, it is an interstellar treasure. The doctor took the trouble to ask Yu Xiao to protect himself, and at the same time sent Yu Xiao's medical examination information to the Shengao database, and Yu Xiao's authority was temporarily increased. It took half an hour for Yu Xiao to come out, and anyone with a discerning eye already understood that he either encountered a serious illness, or the result of pre-differentiation was a high-level OW. Seeing the way the homeroom teacher was nervously protecting him, everyone guessed that it was probably the latter, a high-level Omega. With Yu Xiao in front, Yu Luo, the legendary brother of Yu Xiao, suddenly became more stressed. Many people have already discussed it. Yu Xiao can be an Omega, so Yu Luo must be an S-level Omega. In our school bell of the SSS level in terms of appearance. However, Yu Luo came out in less than 3 minutes, which surprised Fu Qingzhou, who was waiting for him at the door. Xiao Luo, you. Fu Qingzhou hesitated to speak. The result of the pre-differentiation is beta. Yu Luo shook the paper in his hand. It's a bit good, at least, you don't have to be troubled by the susceptibility period. I think it's pretty good, but maybe it's still not as good as you. It's not as good as Yu Xiao. After a pause, Yu Luo continued. The beautiful young man was obviously full of disappointment, but he still tried his best and pretended not to care. That Mingming's face turned pale, and his lowered eyelashes were trembling slightly. At this moment, Yu Luo was full of fragility, which filled Fu Qingzhou's heart with pity. He wanted to take the boy into his arms and comfort him, but Yu Luo was probably in a bad mood, so he refused him and ran to another clinic. Fu Qingzhou looked at Yu Xiao being taken care of by the head teacher like a fragile baby, and then looked at the back of Yu Luo leaving alone. My heart is full of confusion. Why does fate always like to make some jokes? Also, if Xiao Luo really differentiated into a beta, how should he tell his parents? In fact, the doctors in the department were also confused at the moment. You test again, your steps are correct. The doctor checked the assistant's data. The assistant wailed, I've done the test 4 times, and I'm responsible for me to get the same error every time. Doctors had to accept reality. But she was still not reconciled in her heart. How can such a child be just a beta? Really, I encountered 2 strange things when I first went to work. After the physical examination, the group returned to school and began formal classes. Because of Yu Xiao's medical report, the school now attaches great importance to Yu Xiao's personal safety, and hired a special person to help install a lot of safety measures next to Yu Xiao's seat, knocking and knocking all afternoon. Unfortunately, Fu Qingzhou didn't concentrate all afternoon, and didn't cling to Yu Luo to talk to him. Hang Mo poked Yu Luo and handed him a note. Don't worry, no matter what you become, I will always support you. Yu Luo smiled and wrote, who said I'm worried? Hang Mo, okay, but you just let your boyfriend sit with a future Omega. He is an alpha, don't underestimate the natural attraction between OW, I'm afraid you will be green. If you need so, I'll switch places with Fu Qingzhou, and I can ask you questions secretly if I sit behind you. No need. Yu Luo wrote meaningfully, if my boyfriend loved me enough, why don't I trust him a little more, right? Chapter 7. In the evening, the Yu family uncharacteristically sent a driver to pick them up. Yu Luo was a little surprised. After getting in the car and returning home, looking from a distance, the living room on the first floor of Yu's villa was lit. Yu Yuandao didn't go out to socialize, and Li Ling didn't stay up late playing cards. They were all waiting at home early. Of course, it was waiting for Yu Xiao. As soon as Li Ling saw Yu Xiao, she screamed in surprise, welcome back, my baby. Mom already knows that Xiao Xiao will be an Omega from now on, an S-level Omega cherished by the Federation. There is such a character in our family. After hearing the news today, my mother will be so happy that she will be crazy. She is afraid of disturbing your studying, so she has been refraining from disturbing you by texting, come and meet Ms. Tang, she is AB level Omega of the Omega Protection Association, and she will be yours from now on. Exclusive health nurse. Yu Luo had long noticed the middle-aged woman who appeared at home. She had exquisite curly hair and was wearing a beige professional suit. It looks like the exclusive private butlers that are followed by noble young masters and ladies on TV, or like the mentors who follow the Omega protagonists in some idol dramas. They guide the Omega's code of conduct, take care of the Omega's daily life, and give Omega holistic care. AB level Omega can find a very good job anywhere, let alone a member of the Omega Protection Association. Yu Yuandao and Li Ling specially hired her to be the health tutor of the undifferentiated Yu Xiao. They must have spent a lot of money. Yu Luo doesn't like this kind of mentor, who is happy to have a little tail behind of him has been restricting your behavior. But Yu Xiao seemed very satisfied. He respectfully greeted Ms. Tang, and Ms. Tang gave him gift boxes inlaid with white lace. This is a meeting gift. Yu Xiao pretended to be ignorant and asked, "Only I have it, doesn't my brother have it?" Ms. Tang smiled gently and said reservedly, "The meeting ceremony is actually from the Omega Protection Association, so only Omega can have it." Yu Yuandao said beside him, "Little Luo, you don't mind, there's no other way. Who told you to pre-differentiate and the result is beta, otherwise, Ms. Tang can actually take care of you by the way." Li Ling said in a strange way, "Let the people from the Omega Association take care of beta by the way, are you okay?" "Teacher Tang, my husband likes to talk nonsense, don't take it seriously." Yu Luo knew that these two people reminded him both inside and out that he was just a beta and he shouldn't be there to disturb their warm family life of the three, so he said empathetically, "I understand, then I still have homework to do, I'll go upstairs first." Ms. Tang raised her eyes and looked at the back of Yu Luo going upstairs. She was a little regretful that such a good-looking boy was not an Omega. When the two of them walked in just now, she thought that of the two of them, Yu Luo must be the S-rank one. But that can't be helped, she is a member of the Omega Protection Association and will only serve Omega. Then let's test Yu Xiao's pheromone level first. Teacher Tang took out an instrument, and put it in Yu Xiao's hand. Yu Xiao is facing the enemy. System, why do you need to check? I won't reveal any secrets, will I? Host, rest assured, you are now in a pre-differentiation state, and it is normal that the instrument cannot detect any pheromones, but the host still needs to be careful. Ms. Tang will bring you back to the Omega Protection Association when she returns to the headquarters to report on her duties. Use special equipment for inspection, and the host will definitely be exposed. When will she go back to report on his work? Next month at the earliest, if the host can successfully deprive Yu Luo of his differentiation level before Ms. Tang's report, he can pass this level. Yu Xiao's heart relaxed a little. Ms. Tang took the instrument off Yu Xiao's wrist, and looked at the data on it with a frown. Judging from the pre-differentiation level, the pheromone level is ridiculously low. It can be said that it is equivalent to no. Li Ling quickly said, Yu Xiao had a serious illness before, and he has been recuperating for more than 10 years. His health is much worse than that of ordinary people. Ms. Tang suddenly realized and said, then such a situation is also possible. Let's try our best to recuperate his body this month. Yu Xiao, you must cooperate. How dare Yu Xiao say no? In the next week, Yu Xiao received unprecedented preferential treatment no matter at school or at home. Originally, the students in Class 1 were not too enthusiastic about Yu Xiao, but after learning that his pre-differentiation result turned out to be an S-level Omega, many people went to Yu Xiao to join him if they had nothing to do. Yu Xiao was just an ordinary person in his previous life. How could he feel such a feeling of being surrounded by thousands of people? But the more he enjoys this feeling, the more he fears the day when he loses everything. Yu Xiao doesn't need systematic urging, and he thinks hard every day to really deprive Yu Luo of his differentiation level. He also made many plans based on Yu Luo's daily itinerary given by the system. The system can't open all of Yu Luo's information to him. He needs to complete the deprivation plan step by step in order to improve his authority, know more information about Yu Luo, and thus gain more advantages. It was Friday night, and the senior high school seniors who had worked hard for a week finally waited until the holiday, but the evening activities clearly divided them into two classes. Richer families received invitations from the Yu family and dressed up to attend the Yu family's dinner. Some people do who to do the questions at school, but they still do how to do the questions at home. Yu Luo was between the two. Although he was also the master of the Yu family to a certain extent, it was obvious that the Yu family didn't pay much attention to him at this dinner party. Li Ling asked the robot to bring him a simple black suit, but for Yu Xiao's handmade tuxedo that was specially airlifted, the meaning of obvious be quiet, so as not to steal Yu Xiao's limelight. Yu Luo heard the soft music of the band coming from the hall downstairs. The old god spent 2 hours on the ground finishing the homework assigned by the school, then put on the earphones, chose a favorite album, and hummed along softly. Yu Luo didn't change into the black suit until the news of Yu Yuandao and Li Ling urging him to go downstairs to attend the opening banquet came from the optical brain. After thinking about it, he simply put on a diamond earring. When Yu Luo went downstairs, he didn't make a lot of noise, but all eyes were on him at this moment. The boy at the corner of the stairs looked like he was about to become an adult, and the slightly rounded curves on both sides of his cheeks left a bit of childishness, but his delicate and sharp eyebrows and eyes, and his calm and confident temperament were like a blade cutting paper. It felt a stunning mark on everyone's hearts. Yu Luo walked through the crowd to the front desk. Wherever he went, everyone automatically moved away from him by about 1 meter. There seemed to be an invisible zone surrounding him. Like diamonds enshrined on gorgeous velvet, the light is very bright, but if you want to get close to steal it, you will be cut. Fu Qingzhou looked at him, her heart burning hotly. When Yu Luo stood still next on Yu Xiao's custom-made gown, which cost a lot of money, was instantly set off in an exaggerated costume on the stage. The colorful actors played the role of the prince on the stage, while the real prince dressed in casual clothes with a state of mind leisurely enjoying their face. The faces of the 3 people who were originally elated were somewhat ugly. Yu Xiao felt like a monkey who stole his clothes. Holding champagne, Li Ling squeezed between Yu Luo and Yu Xiao, at least separating them, as if this could block the constant contrasting eyes of the audience. Yu Yuandao's smile was warm and somewhat fake. He introduced Yu Xiao grandly to everyone, and clarified that he was not the illegitimate child of the Yu family, but he was brought home recently because he had been recovering from illness in an alien planet. In the latest physical examination, the pre-differentiation him result was an S-class Omega. Yu Luo, say something too. Yu Yuandao handed the microphone to Yu Luo. Yu Luo thought for a while and said, "When I first found out that I have a younger brother, I was really shocked, but soon I discovered that Yu Xiao is actually very cute, and brought a lot of fun to my originally peaceful life. It can also help me spend more time with my parents. In addition, I am very happy that Yu Xiao's pre-differentiation results are so good. I look forward to having him as my brother every day in the future." Yu Xiao responded shyly, "I also like brother Yu Luo very much." There were also some people who were not well informed. They didn't understand why the Yu family valued Yu Xiao, a new kid, so much. Instead, they ignored Yu Luo, who everyone watched and grew up. After hearing the news of pre-differentiation, these people suddenly realized. After all, it's an S-level Omega. It's understandable that Yu Xiao's marriage will definitely help the Yu family improve a lot. He has already begun to think about whether to discuss marriage with Yu Yuandao. Well, although Yu Xiao is not very good looking, and it is said that his grades are not very good, but his mental strength in the future will definitely help his alpha a lot, and the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. After the 4 members of the Yu family finished their speeches, the banquet officially began. Yu Yuandao invited some small artists and dance troupes to perform. In the audience, Yu Xiao was immediately surrounded by people to speak. Ms. Tang sat beside Yu Xiao, holding a pheromone monitor in her hand, in case Alpha released 2 strong pheromones and stimulated Yu Xiao. Yu Luo sat by the window by himself, and some people wanted to go up and talk to him, but for some reason they all chose a place closer to him and sat down. Strangely, there was a circle of people around Yu Luo, and no one bothered him to drink juice by himself. After a while, Yu Luo seemed a little bored and went upstairs. Yu Xiao kept staring at him with a little distraction, and when he saw that he was gone, he threw off the crowd and followed. Holding 2 glasses of fruit juice, Yu Xiao threw a small pill into the cup as his left while no one was paying attention, and the pill quickly and silently dissolved. Yu Xiao walked up to Yu Luo who was standing on the edge of the corridor looking downcast, and showed a friendly smile. "Brother, I'm so happy with what you said just now, I thought you hated me." As he spoke, Yu Xiao handed the juice to Yu Luo. "System, as long as Yu Luo's information glands are severely injured, I can deprive him of his differentiation level, right? As long as Yu Luo takes the differentiation catalyst, his information glands will inhibit their growth due to excessive catalysis, and the task of depriving Yu Luo of differentiation level will reach 50% of the progress. The host dug out Yu Luo's information glands with his own hands. The system said cruel words coldly and mechanically. Brother, I offer you a toast. Yu Xiao raised his glass first, and took a sip of his juice. Chapter 8. Yu Luo looked at the pink juice in his hand. The lychee mint sparkling water exudes a sweet taste, but this sweetness hides a deadly malice. Yu Luo suddenly understood why in his previous life, he felt very uncomfortable every day for a period of time, had constant high fevers, and felt like vomiting in class. This also indirectly led to Yu Luo's dizzy brain and body, making it difficult to parry the murderer when he was kidnapped. In the past, in order to build a good relationship with his new brother, and to make Yu Yuandao and Li Ling happy that their brotherhood is harmonious, he took all the food and drinks from Yu Xiao without any precautions. I don't know how many strong drugs Yu Xiao secretly gave him to make his health worse in the future. Facing Yu Xiao's expectant eyes, Yu Luo casually put the cup on the table beside him, leaned against the wall, and raised his eyebrows at him, with a slight sarcasm in his tone. That's just a scene, do you believe it? Yu Xiao. System, you fucking sigh it again, this is kind-hearted. After testing, Yu Luo's account still regularly donates to orphans, widows, and out-of-school children. On Tuesday after school, Yu Luo worked as a community volunteer all night to help clean up river garbage. Yesterday, he also picked up a stray cat with an injured hind leg and sent it to the veterinarian, delivered and covered the cost of the cat's treatment. To sum up, Yu Luo is only hostile to the host who has stolen the favor of his parents, but in other things, he still conforms to his original, kind personality. Yu Xiao, tisk tisk, listen to what you said. What inhumane thing I'm going to do to such a kind little poor thing next? It's a pity, people make money and birds die for food. Brother, I'm sorry, I apologize to you. Yu Xiao changed his strategy and said sincerely, I know, my sudden arrival makes you feel uncomfortable. You may feel that your parents love me more than you. In fact, you are completely wrong. Parents really love you, but because I have been sick and just recovered, they will pay more attention to me, and then they will not pay attention to me like this. You know, they take fact, part of the reason why I came back was because I missed your playmates. While talking, Yu Xiao observed Yu Luo's expression. He seemed to relax a little bit, and at the same time, his favorability for him also increased a little bit. Yu Xiao felt that he had figured out the direction of his words. HMPH, he's just a poor wretch longing for the love of his father and mother. Brother, I really think of you as my brother. I really want our relationship to be better in the future. I imagine that we will go to school together, play together, like ordinary brothers. Can you try to accept me? Let's talk about it later. Yu Luo was silent for a while, then said dryly. There was still no expression on his face, but through the change in favorability, Yu Xiao knew that his heart had softened, and he believed his words. Believe his words, believe his words. Brother, we drank this glass of juice together, replacing the bar with tea. Yu Xiao stuffed the juice into Yu Luo's hand again. Yu Xiao brought the cup to his mouth, and was about to drink it, but suddenly frowned in disgust. I hate lychee flavor the most. He put the wine aside again. I accept your apology, but it's actually not your fault. I'm too horny. Yu Xiao, how dare you accept the apology? You'd rather drink it. System, why didn't you tell me in advance that Yu Luo hates lychee flavor? The records of Yu Luo's preferences in the database are not so detailed. Then what if he doesn't drink it now? The 80 points I just bought for the medicine are not in vain, plus the money I spent on other items in the morning. I have 5 points left now. How can I buy another pill? Yu Luo became vigilant. Did Yu Xiao buy other props when he was not around? I don't know what it is specifically, but Yu Xiao's system provides a variety of props with various functions. It would be bad if he used it on himself without paying attention. However, there are 5 points left, which can be used. Downstairs, Fu Qingzhou gracefully ended some conversation with other parents, and a special notification sound came from the bracelet. Fu Qingzhou hurriedly turned on the optical brain, and Yu Luo sent a message, "I'm a little hungry, bring me something to eat on the second floor, by the way bring two." Fu Qingzhou put down his optical brain as if nothing had happened, and said to Mrs. Fu beside her, "Mom, let me go to the bathroom." Mrs. Fu's skin was radiant, her demeanor was supple, and she was full of laziness created by money and status. She took a sip of the wine, and did not expose her son's clumsy excuses, and lightly parted her red lips. "Go, you can also talk to Yu Xiaochat." Fu Qingzhou's footsteps paused. Mother clearly knew that he liked Yu Luo. What did she mean by that? When the results of the physical examination came out last time, his parents didn't ask him about Yu Luo's differentiation result, but Fu Qingzhou knew that they must have checked it in private. Otherwise, wouldn't tell him that he is still young. Maybe he will meet someone more worthy in college, and so on. Worthy? What is worthy? Can't I escape the fate of being used as a marriage tool? Fu Qingzhou feels that he is still young. He doesn't want to think about the fate of his family, the rise of his class, etc., and he doesn't want to be a puppet of the gradually decaying Fu family. His young life should be decided by himself. Yu Luo is a beta. It doesn't matter if he can't relieve his mental power after marriage. He can increase his strength and level up by himself. What kind of man is an alpha whose ability to grow depends entirely on omega? He will be strong enough to protect Yu Luo and bring glory to the family. Thinking of this, Fu Qingzhou chose a few desserts and fruits that Yu Luo liked on the long table, and brought them along. "Little Luo, you are here," I said. "Why didn't I see you downstairs?" Fu Qingzhou walked up the stairs, and the handsome young man smiled heartily when he saw Yu Luo. "I brought your favorite mango ice cream." "Thank you, I just haven't had dinner yet." Yu Luo took the mango ice and scooped a spoonful. The cold and sweet taste rushed to the brain along the taste buds, and a sincere smile burst into the corner of his mouth. "Brother Qingzhou," Yu Xiao greeted. "Yu Xiao, what are you whispering here?" Fu Qingzhou was a little surprised that Yu Luo was chatting with Yu Xiao just now. It seemed that the atmosphere was okay. Otherwise Yu Luo wouldn't say to take 2 portions of food, and one of them should be for Yu Xiao. "Here, you probably haven't had dinner yet." Fu Qingzhou put another plate in front of Yu Xiao. Yu Xiao didn't expect that he would being things for himself specially. Does this mean that he doesn't feel anything about himself? Under Yu Xiao's pleasant surprise, the unhappiness of being blocked in the mission just now has been greatly reduced. He deliberately picked up a glass of mango ice. "I like to eat this too, thank you Brother Qingzhou for thinking of me." Yu Xiao said such ambiguous words, which made Fu Qingzhou feel a little wrong, and immediately refuted, but before he could say anything, Yu Xiao suddenly coughed violently, and at the same time, his whole body twitched, looking very scary. Fu Qingzhou was startled, and forgot what he was going to say, and quickly tried to help Yu Xiao up. "Are you okay, little Luo? What's wrong with him?" Yu Luo was also taken aback. "I don't know, maybe he choked." "But why did he convulse?" "I'll go down and call the doctor, you stay here and watch." Yu Luo ran down, and Yu Xiao looked at his back. His heart was bleeding with hatred. Obviously he was the one who saw the food Fu Qingzhou handed to him just now. He was jealous, his favorability dropped by 10 points, and he was shocked by the system again. This villain pretended to be a good person and went down to call a doctor for him. Yu Xiao shouted in his heart, "I want to offset with points, cancel the electric shock quickly." The system ignored his pain. It takes 6 points to offset, and the points are not enough. The electric shock will end in 25 seconds. Seeing him in extreme pain, Fu Qingzhou was afraid that something would happen if he waited any longer, and he didn't care about anything else. He held Yu Xiao upright in his arms, and used the Heimlich first aid method to punch Yu Xiao down bottom to top with his fist Yu Xiao's abdomen. Yu Xiao became dizzy from the beating, but managed to spit out the mango stuck in his throat. Soon, the doctor rushed up, and Yu Yuandao and Li Ling hurried up to check on Yu Xiao's situation. Yu Xiao twitched for a while, and gradually healed, but his spirit had not recovered completely, and he looked dull. Li Ling was so frightened that her heart almost stopped beating. She cried, "My baby Xiao Xiao," and kept wiping Yu Xiao's sweat with her handkerchief. Someone next to her handed her a glass of water, and Li Ling hurriedly fed Yu Xiao it few mouthfuls, trying to help him recover quickly. Host, warning, the water contains pills. The voice of the system sounded sharply in Yu Xiao's mind, but unfortunately Yu Xiao's body moved faster than his brain, and before Yu Xiao realized that the water tasted like lychee, he had already swallowed it. Yu Xiao looked in shock at Li Ling, who was still stroking his face affectionately. He didn't know what to say for a while, but after a while, he asked hoarsely, "Mom, where did you get the drink?" "I just took it casually." Where did Li Ling remember this? She was so panicked that she forgot her last name just now. "Xiao Xiao, are you okay? Why don't we go to the hospital to check some other day? Maybe you are still not well." 2. It doesn't matter how much you spend, what can you do exhaust your mother? Yu Xiao lifted a rock and smashed his foot, only to feel a throbbing pain in his head. How could he be in the mood to listen to Li Ling talk about her fear now? If his mother poured medicine into his mouth, he would have to slap her, not to mention that Li Ling was not his mother. "Stop crying." He couldn't help shouting at Li Ling, "I'm not dead yet." Li Ling was taken aback by his voice. She held back her tears and looked at him timidly, not daring to say anything. Yu Luo looked funny from the side. As expected, everything has its nemesis. Li Ling, who usually only bosses him around, unexpectedly has moments like a quail in front of the children. Yu Xiao realized that he had overreacted a bit. Everyone was still watching, and he returned to his previous pitiful look. He hugged Li Ling in his arms to comfort him. Now the mother and son looked exactly the same. Yu Xiao asked the system, "System, I'm still depriving Yu Luo of his physique, is it okay to drink that medicine?" The differentiation catalyst has no effect on the host's current body, but after Yu Luo's differentiation level is deprived, the host's final differentiation level will be reduced by 1 level from Yu Luo's. That is to say, I will be differentiated into an A- level omega by then. It's unlucky. If that bitch Yu Luo wasn't so jealous, how could I be so unlikely? It's none of Fu Qingzhou's business to send me things. I will definitely want to snatch Fu Qingzhou over and piss him off. Hearing Yu Xiao's scolding, Yu Luo suddenly felt a little dull, and when Mrs. Tang caught up to check Yu Xiao again, she left quietly. Chapter 9. Because of Yu Xiao's accident, the reception dinner that was supposed to be beautiful ended early. Yu Luo went back to his room to sleep, and there was no reason for Fu Qingzhou to stay here any longer. He originally planned to leave first like the other guests, but Yu Yuandao left him and Mrs. Fu alone, expressed his gratitude grandly, and said that in the future, "We'll take Yu Xiao to visit Fujai and give a special thank you gift." Fu Qingzhou has been a rich and noble son for so many years, so he can't see his thoughts. Since Yu Yuandao didn't intend to bring Yu Luo to visit Fujai, he didn't have the time to deal with them, so he planned to refuse directly. Madame Fu stopped him, and said to Li Ling with a smile, "Yes, let's drink tea together later." Li Ling never thought that Mrs. Fu, who had always treated her like nothing before, would talk to her so kindly, and she blushed with excitement. Yu Yuandao made his fortune halfway. In the entire Maple Star, the Yu family can only be regarded as a little rich, but it has never been regarded by a family with real background. Li Ling also tried to curry favor with those wives from real aristocratic families in the past, but they were all excluded from the social circle. She had no choice but to give and went to play cards, gamble and shop with other nouveau riche wives every day. There is no doubt that Mrs. Fu's change was due to the possibility of Yu Xiao becoming an S-level omega, and Li Ling felt more and more that it was her precious son who gave her face. "Mom, don't try to match Yu Xiao and me, no matter what level he is, I'm not interested. I have already emphasized that I like you and he is the only one." On the way back to Fu's house, Fu Qingzhou said firmly. Compared with Fu Qingzhou's youthful confrontation, Mrs. Fu's answer was light and mature, but it made me feel helpless. "I know, but the Yu family just wanted to come to thank them. If they refused, it would appear that we looked down on them. There is no need to cause more trouble. Speaking of it, if you hadn't saved Yu Xiao, this accident would never have happened." "But forget it." Fu Qingzhou swallowed the rebuttal. He wanted to say, could it be possible to watch Yu Xiao choke to death? He wanted to say that what the two of them were talking about was not the same thing at all, but how could a shrewd person like his mother not understand the Yu family's temptation, and was just deliberately obfuscating their temptation. Fu Qingzhou insists that he is not wrong, and he is not ready to compromise. He just didn't think of a way to resist for the time being. In the Yu family, the bustling music at the banquet and people's conversation faded away, and the Yu family villa, which was still sensual just now, was shrouded in a gloomy night. Like most of the rich and bloody dramas, the relationship between the family of four here is not very harmonious. Yu Xiao lost his temper alone in his room. It's annoying, it's annoying, it's annoying, it's annoying. Ever since I came to this bullshit world, nothing I've done has gone my way. Your system is the same. You've overhyped your own functions, and you can't help at all. Superior. Yu Xiao's chest heaved violently, and he picked up the ornaments on the cabinet and threw them on the ground one by one. Xiao Xiao, are you all right? Li Ling knocked on his door. Her voice was muffled, but worry could still be heard. Yu Xiao knew that she must still be guarding her door. It's okay, I accidentally dropped something. Didn't I tell you to go to sleep? Do you want Mom to come in and clean up for you? No need, Mom, there are housekeeping robots. Yu Xiaoqiang answered with impatience. In fact, he complained to the system in his heart, this woman is really annoying, clinging to me like a dog every day. Baby comes and goes every day, as if growing on my son. I'm about to vomit. Yu Xiao is gay in his own world, not used to contacting women. Li Ling took care of him meticulously every day, which didn't move him, but put him under a lot of pressure. Reminder, Li Ling is your biological mother in this world. It is best not to say what the host just said in front of her. If it hurts her feelings for you, and then deprives Yu Lao of his biological parents, Li Ling may not cooperate. In the future, still depriving Yu Luo of his biological parents. I'm about to be killed by Yu Luo's affection mission, don't you see? Damn it, don't you think Yu Luo knows that I drugged that glass of lychee juice? Yes, he deliberately framed me to let me drink. When the host put the pills, Yu Luo turned his back to you and didn't see your movements. At the same time, the host didn't disclose your plan to anyone. And it's impossible for Yu Luo to know that you took the pills through other channels. Guessing rejected. It is recommended that the host improve its own abilities and not always push mistakes on others. The system and the host are two-way choices. If the host's ability is really not enough to match the difficulty of the task, the system also has the right to choose other hosts. Are you threatening me? You were the one who lured me into installing this bullshit system. Yu Xiao was furious, and he was still talking nonsense. Suddenly, a cold murderous intent swept through his body. Yu Xiao's pupils froze, and he smelled danger. He realized that the system's so-called serving him was just sugar-coated bullets. In fact, he really had no power to resist in front of the system. If he can't prove that he is useful to the system, he will be wiped out in an instant. Empress Yu Xiao trembled in fear, and hurriedly begged the system for mercy. Today's incident was just an accident, and I will definitely be able to successfully complete all the deprivation tasks in the future. But I really can't complete the task of Yu Luo's favorability of 20. You also saw it. Because of my parents, Yu Luo has always been hostile to me. If I receive electric shocks at every turn because of this favorability task, or waste all my points on counteracting electric shocks, wouldn't it be more difficult to complete the task? System, can I don't do this mission anymore? Yu Xiao spoke very carefully, afraid that the system would think that he was passive and sabotage. The system still explained last time, if Yu Luo's favorability value is less than 20, he will basically not agree to give you the aura of the Son of Luck. Is there no way to get Yu Luo's consent without asking for it, such as grabbing it directly? There should be such a way. Yes, the system said after a while. If Yu Luo's personality can be completely destroyed, he will not even be able to maintain the most basic consciousness of, I am a human being. Then he can't be regarded as a son of luck. At that time, the host can snatch the halo, but this method is much more difficult than directly obtaining Yu Luo's favorability and tricking him into actively transferring the halo. It's okay, I'm not afraid of trouble. I'm too happy to be able to torture Yu Luo. Then you will cancel my favorability task soon, and I don't want to touch this task again in my life. Yu Xiao said impatiently, isn't Health you don't like me, let him hate me to death. He didn't even notice that when he imagined him torturing Yu Luo and making Yu Luo kneel in front of him begging for mercy, what kind of cruel and irrational light flashed in his eyes. The mission, Yu Luo favorability reached 20 degrees has been cancelled. At the same time, Yu Luo had already taken a shower and was lying on the bed ready to go to sleep. Suddenly, there was a hot feeling between the eyebrows. A strange connection connects him to some unseen being in the void, while the pale golden light invisible to others enveloped Yu Luo's whole body. A warm feeling also enveloped him. Yu Luo seemed to have entered a strange time and space, in which he couldn't tell the passage of time. It seems that only a moment has passed, and it seems that so long has passed since the establishment of the world. He didn't communicate with that thing, but when Yu Lao got out of that strange state, he already understood everything about it. The halo that Yu Xiao and the system tried their best to take away, but Yu Luo had never seen before, finally appeared in front of him. Yu Luo never understood why he was reborn, but the slightly dim aura now gave him some guesses. In order to give him a chance to do it all over again, Halo must have exhausted all his energy. The son of luck, Halo, to be precise, gave the holder luck in 3 senses. It was difficult for Yu Luo to describe its exact function, so he could only find a few words to summarize it. The first is, evil is rewarded with evil. The current halo only works with this function, and this function was only officially activated half an hour ago. Yu Luo guessed that he had successfully counterattacked Yu Xiao and made him suffer the consequences, which inadvertently awakened halo. This halo can make Yu Luo vaguely perceive other people's malice towards him, and trigger specific events with a certain probability, so that those who try to do evil to him will receive retribution. The second is that good will be rewarded with good. The third level, everything goes well. Both halos are currently dim and inactive. It should also require Yu Luo to do something that meets the conditions before it can be reactivated. Yu Luo thought for a while about the meaning of good deeds are rewarded with good deeds. He often does good deeds, but the first one activated was not this heavy one, but evil deeds are rewarded with evil. Could it be that the good he did was not big enough? Maybe at least one event equivalent to successfully resisting Yu Xiao's poison can be activated. Yu Luo couldn't think of what he could do for the time being, so he had to put it aside and talk about it when he met. As drowsiness hit, Yu Luo vaguely thought that he had successfully protected himself today. While satisfying, it is inevitable to feel a little lonely. In this life, will his biological parents come to him on the day he dies 2 years later like in the last life? Yu Luo gradually fell into a deep sleep, and when she woke up again, there was no one at home. Well, this is as usual. He made himself a bowl of cereal for breakfast, and a message came through his brain. Yu Luo, are you coming to the paradise tonight? The performance fee will be doubled. Chapter 10. Paradise is not an amusement park. Its full name is Sabbath Paradise, and it is one of the most famous bars in the inner borough. The owner of the park is an alumnus of Shengao. Once when he went back to school to participate in the anniversary celebration, he saw Yu Luo performing and singing on the stage, so he privately found his contact information and invited him to come to the park to sing when he was free. The boss doesn't have any requirements for Yu Luo's duration or repertoire, as long as Yu Luo comes, he will pay him a very high performance, and will not deduct tips from guests. For Yu Luo, it was a good source of income. But with the focus on studying, and there are always various people trying to harass him in the bar, Yu Luo doesn't go there often. The frequency is about once a month or two. Why, are there few people in the bar? Yu Luo asked. When you come, there will be more people. The boss Ting Jie said. Help me, little Luo. Recently, a new bar opened nearby, engaged in malicious competition with low prices, and half of my customers were taken away. What will happen to me if you don't come again? Live. Knowing that the boss was crying poor on purpose, Yu Luo joked, I'll sing in the past, and then scare the other half of your customers away. Nonsense, who is our little Luo? It must be the sound of nature. The boss knew that he agreed, and happily sent him emojis. Yu Luo thought about what to sing tonight, and spent the afternoon practicing. At 7 o'clock in the evening, I picked up my guitar and set off on time. At the same time, Fu Jai. There were 5 people sitting at the long dining table. They are Mrs. Fu Qingzhou, and Yu Yuandao's family. Yu Yuandao came to the door with a gift box in the afternoon to thank them, and Mrs. Fu kept them for dinner by the way. Fu Qingzhou didn't intend to participate at first, but was stayed by Mrs. Fu, otherwise it would be embarrassing for Yu Xiao, a child, to have dinner with their 3 elders. Fu Qingzhou had to sit with Yu Xiao condescendingly. Fortunately, Yu Xiao was conscious and didn't bother him. The two ate in silence. Fu Qingzhou listened to the talking and laughing of the 3 adults, swallowed the food in his mouth dully, and clicked on the light brain to look at the message box from time to time. He sent several messages to Yu Luo today, but only the good morning was followed by the word morning, and none of the subsequent messages were replied. As brother Qingzhou chatting with brother Yu Luo, Yu Xiao who was sitting beside him suddenly asked in a low voice. Fu Qingzhou glanced at him, wondering why he suddenly spoke up. Yes, why didn't you bring him with you today? Actually, we called him, but brother Yu Luo said he didn't want to come. Yu Xiao said, why don't you want to come? Fu Qingzhou was immediately annoyed with doubts. He's hooked. Yu Xiao said to the system, are you sure Yu Luo has rushed to the bar now, right? Yu's surveillance shows that he just left 3 minutes ago. Alright, since Yu Luo sent me a pillow, I will definitely seize this opportunity. Facing Fu Qingzhou's inquiry, Yu Xiao was also very confused. I don't know, I thought brother Yu Luo wanted to see you very much. But he said he has other things to do tonight, and my parents are in a hurry to take care of you. I went to the hospital for a physical examination, but I didn't take him with me. Yu Xiao looked at Fu Qingzhou's optical brain. Did he tell you? Fu Qingzhou's face is a little ugly. Not only didn't tell him, Yu Luo ignored him all day. If he didn't come to Fujai to see him, and said he had something to do at night, where would Yu Luo go? Fu Qingzhou began to think about the places Yu Luo often went to. In order to chase Yu Luo, he got a good idea of Yu Luo's living habits. Thinking of a place, he frowned. Mom, I'm full, I'm leaving first. Fu Qingzhou interrupted the conversation of the superior. Mrs. Fu said with some displeasure, you left before the guests finished eating. What kind of etiquette is this? Yu Xiao came out at the right time and said, I'm sorry Mrs. Fu, I want brother Qingzhou to accompany me for a stroll. That's what up he said that, I'm too ignorant. When Fu Qingzhou said that he was going to leave, he didn't say that he would take Yu Xiao with him. Mrs. Fu knew at a glance that Yu Xiao said this to help Fu Qingzhou out of the siege, and she felt a little satisfied in her heart, thinking that Yu Xiao would protect her son and was more sensible. This is much better than Yu Luo who only makes Fu Qingzhou accommodate him in various ways. So that's the case, then you go. Mrs. Fu was relieved. Qingzhou, don't lose me. Understood, Mom. Fu Qingzhou replied suddenly, looking at Yu Xiao, let's go. The two walked outside Fu's house. Yu Xiao said empathetically, just put me here, I'll go home by myself later. Brother Qingzhou, go find my brother. Fu Qingzhou really planned to throw him somewhere casually, but after hearing what he said, he felt that his behavior was a bit excessive. It's okay, you can go with me, I'll take you home together then. Okay. Yu Xiao gave him a big smile. Fu Qingzhou suddenly found that since the day he met Yu Xiao, the young man had been relying on him wholeheartedly and obediently, as if no matter what he said or did, Yu Xiao would always think it was right. But Yu Luo's words, he always has his own thoughts. Where the two were together, Fu Qingzhou always put Yu Luo's will first. Realizing that his thoughts were a little off, Fu Qingzhou hurried to the garage to drive. I hope Yu Luo goes to the bar secretly without telling him, not like he thought. Sabbath Paradise. The bar that seemed a bit lonely in the foyer just now seemed to have something attractive suddenly, and waves of customers came out of the opposite bar and poured into Sabbath. In an unobtrusive corner of the street corner, there is a shadow that blends with the darkness. The tall man was dressed in neat black clothes and black trousers, and a black baseball cap. His silvery hair wrist pressed down by the brim of the hat, which partially covered his eyes and also blocked the flashing murderous intent in the man's eyes. The instrument on his wrist showed that the annoying follower was still lingering around here, and the man gave a tisk impatiently. He doesn't want to play with people anymore, he might as well find a place to rest for a while. The neon signboard of Sabbath Paradise is particularly conspicuous in the dark night. The man's eyes turned around between the park and the bar opposite it, his feet slightly lifted, and his black leather boots blended into the crowd. He wanted to see if there was any coke in the paradise. Yu Luo is singing on stage. From rushing over to putting on the performance costume prepared for him by the boss, and then delaying for a while in the background, Yu Luo officially took the stage at 8 o'clock in the evening. This time is a bit early for people who are used to staying up late and clubbing. But ever since Yu Luo stood on the stage, the people who came towards him still poured in continuously. Some people are loyal fans of Yu Luo, urging the boss to invite him every day. Some people heard from various places that there was a super beautiful beauty who sang to the Sabbath, and they hadn't seen it once in 800 years. Hearing that he came today, they rushed over from all directions. But, in just half an hour, the originally deserted paradise was already full of people. Before the man in black came in, he obviously didn't expect that there would be so many people inside. After being steamed by the steaming popularity, he suddenly regretted it, thinking that he might as well spend some effort and go out to deal with the tale. At this moment, he heard the singing voice from the teenager on the stage. Like Yuquan, with a clear, soft, sweet voice. It slowly trickled into his eardrums. If you're looking for a savior, there, don't look for me. You need someone to take your pain away. That person won't be me. Sad because we're all broken. Where have all the dreams gone? Can't find the dream but once had. The unbelievably beautiful boy sang the song intently, and he himself was full of contradictory aesthetics just like the lyrics. Like a ray of dawn mixed in the gloomy night, and a glimmer of hope in the suffocating prison. Everyone in the audience originally came here just to see the boy's face, but as the accompaniment gradually reached a climax, their thoughts drifted away, as if they were melted into his singing. Nightingale. The word popped out of the heart of the man in black. That beautiful creature that always appears in fairy tales and legends, singing ethereal morning. The music gradually faded away, and Yu Luo, who was immersed in his own world, looked at the dark heads under the stage, and instantly lost his emotions. This is the end of my performance today, thank you everyone. Until this moment, as if intoxicated in a dream, the crowd who had been silent all this time returned to their original frantic and bustle. Encore, 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 encore. Everyone yelled in unison, and the voices of urgency converged into a torrent rushing towards the young man on the stage, trying to wrap him with surging love and stop him from leaving. But it's a pity that Yu Luo only came here to make money. Now that he has achieved his goal of helping the boss attract customers, his work has been completed. I am not active after get off work, and have problems with thinking. Yu Luo, don't rush away, I'll buy you a drink. The boss waved to him from the audience. Yu Luo smiled, jumped off the edge of the stage, and walked to the bar. The bartender handed him a glass of brightly colored tequila sunrise and blew him a kiss. It's my honor to be able to serve a beauty. At the same time, he quickly added more juicy and sugar, so don't worry. Yu Luo was indeed a little thirsty when he got off the stage. The bartender on the Sabbath is the same as the boss, and he has known him for a long time. Yu Luo tasted it, and it really fit his taste. But he was just showing the boss a face, and he didn't intend to really stay here and finish the drink. Because someone had already darted to strike up a conversation. Are you what they call, low? I've been waiting here for 2 months before I finally get your show. What a wait, but it's worth it. The playboy-like young man had 2 blushes on his face, looking at Yu Luo's eyes with an intoxicated light, blocking Yu Luo's way to the backstage. Sir, please let me go. Yu Luo was a little helpless. It was said that the job of resident singing was not good at all, every time he encountered alcoholics. Fu Qingzhou and Yu Xiao hesitated at the scene at this time, and their eyes quickly locked on the person in the center of the audience. Fu Qingzhou quickly judged that Yu Luo seemed to have been harassed by others, and was about to squeeze through the crowd and rush to the hero to save the beauty. Yu Xiao took a step behind him, waiting for this moment. System: use Cupid's golden arrow body to target Yu Luo. Cupid's golden arrow body effect: make the user fall in love the first person who appears in front of his eyes. Time limit: 30 minutes. Yu Xiao bought this prop before the Friday dinner. He knew through the system that Yu Luo would occasionally come to the bar to work, so he was planning how to split Yu Luo and Fu Qingzhou. If it wasn't for buying this equipment, he wouldn't have had extra points to offset the electric shock punishment yesterday. Yu Xiao had great expectations for the effect of this prop. Host: used.